Hmm. Hi again. Hello, friends. How are you doing? My name is Hariom, and today is day 7 of live broadcast learning and building session where I sit down and evolve my structures, my product, my expose my systems, my thinking, my processes, my documents, and to a very specific audience with a very specific goal, and that's me. Okay. Why? Let's start with why I'm doing it this way. I needed to push myself beyond my basic learning methods. I want to push myself to expose myself to the universe in a way that I that this is who I am, and now let me find the best opportunity, uh, get the premium attention. Maybe that's the basic part. I'm also showcasing how I think, how I work, how I proceed to do things, um, and that's me, of course. Hmm. What else? I also want to inspire some beginners to jump on a journey and start building and learning and showcasing to the universe who they are. What do they want? How do they want it? Get on it. I hope it's inspiring. So, after the seventh day, today I'm like more confident to get on this journey. So I'll share a short brief about my journey. I also published on a Twitter thread yesterday. So I think and write and think and publish and think. I just keep on thinking out loud. Also share my screen in the meantime. So about this January 2025, I started learning the basics of Salesforce ecosystem. I went through um, the trails, the Salesforce ecosystem trails, which are like the best part of the ecosystem, which helps the beginners like me. Okay. So, and that's the conscious direction I took. So I also followed a few sources so that I can, engage with the content I want to I want to get into. And I wanted to synthesize my learnings and create content intentionally. So that is where I am doing this. Uh, Second part of the story is to actually learn and push my limits. I also joined this hackathon where I spent about like some days very carefully and get into a process of actually building it. In that hackathon, I again was still learning the ABCs, so I thought to build and learn. I was not really able to build a dummy agent at the end of it. I was stuck. I was not really able to solve one problem that was like stuck in my head. I was probably doing the what do we call it? Hit and trial programming, and that was stupid. I consciously thought of it few times, and then I was able to do it, and I was able to do it on live. So that is why I started this journey to do it live more. Okay. So a few parts of it, I went through some badges, points, trays. Then I started building this as a portfolio to actually build this product on live broadcast. Also, I have this documentation which is always added into the description of these videos. Um, and now I have an agent. Hello, my agent has I would say, the God complex, and I will take it slow from here. This is like this might be a bold statement, I don't know, but imagine you're talking to a God. So I'll get to that point in a few minutes. I was talking about the short journey. Now, that was about why and the journey. Okay, I'll stop sharing screen for a moment. So that was about why and few things. Now let me describe my target audience. One, very clearly. the system integrators for Salesforce ecosystem who help the industry and the organizations and the companies who are using Salesforce who want to start using Salesforce. And I am here to work with them as a freelancer and agent placer who can help you build innovative agents. And that's where I am starting with an open mind, like, yeah, let's innovate together, right? That's one. Second, again, I think I talked about was the beginners. I hope to help and inspire and push some beginners out of their comfort zone where they keep on thinking like, yeah, this is what I can do and this is what I cannot do. So there's nothing we cannot do, right? Okay. So that was about the target audience. And again, so it's like I strongly believe that everything is there are funnels. There are funnels everywhere. This video is a funnel. Every conversation is a funnel. That's the another bold thought I have. You may call it bold, but I want to keep it that way. Uh, I have a very specific definition of the term conversation, where I say that every conversation is a scientific event where you know the outcome, the best case scenario, or whatever the outcome is, depends on huge set of things which we don't even know usually, right? So I'm not going to into the specifics of that definition, which I have discussed multiple times, which I will keep on exploring. So this is kind of another parallel research experiment which I'm doing. So I'm kind of a research persona, research oriented persona. I look into things like a experimentation way. Like, yeah, I need a hypothesis where I want to go. I need a um, goal where I want to go. Then I want to carefully move into that direction. Yeah, this is where I am. Right. So behind this experiment, another few goals I had was um, like find an opportunity to work with Salesforce integrate system integrators, right? So I have written all those things. I'm doing this experiment like a research project where I have defined everything in a document. If I recently I exported this document, it was about like 100 odd pages. Uh, Recently, I also submitted that Notion page as a PDF to Google Gemini. What is that? LLM notebook LLM, and wow, it is fun. Talking to two hosts talking about the project, whichever we are doing as a uh, something great, right? Which is wow, awesome. So I will also publish one of the conversations because it is also interactive these days, right? I'm going to publish that soon. So I'll share my project on the document, then I will move into thinking out loud where I'm going. So today is the seventh day of 7 days challenge. I'm now going to improvise from here again. What do we do after 7 days, right? It's like, yeah, I need a next step. So I'm going into more blasting um, and careful moving forward because now I have a base agent to start to evolve from. So I want to keep it slow and iterating very carefully, like more, uh, not rapidly. Right? I'm like the direction is more important than the speed at this stage where I am right now. Right. So I believe in templates, processes, everything. So about the audience, let me share my Notion home. Sorry, no, services. My website home for a minute. This is who I am. Right. This is what I'm talking about. This is my website home where, oh, let me check my screen. Yeah. Where I'm saying this is my portfolio. I'm building an agent. Oh, we can share it from here also. Right. And I have connected a YouTube short video where I'm describing my dream project, like which the direction that the end goal I'm trying to imagine, right? Where I'm saying, imagine, you know, you can talk to AGPT and find a job. Yeah, not everything, like, not actually closing the loop. My agent home, where I'm saying, imagine you are having a conversation with God. So this is also a portfolio, also an agent in the process of building. I have a dummy here which talks, but it is dummy. It doesn't. It's not customized to do the needful at this stage yet, right? Okay, let's go back to the website now for a minute. So with this portfolio, I'm saying that to succeed in anything well, attention and damn iterative process is all you need. So the two research projects, right? Research papers. Attention is all you need, which came up with the transformers with around the recent upgradation of artificial intelligence, and the iteration is all you need, which is conceptualized by ERP AI, right? So I'm combining them all, and I'm considering them as the, what do we call it? Laws of nature to begin with, right? So it's a very careful thought I am moving with, right? It's like, yeah, everything we want to do, everything we do, or everything we do, right? We plan to do needs a process and attention, right? So the more attention and the more careful process it is, it's more of a better outcome, right? So the quality depends on the how much attention and careful processing, iterative processing we have been doing. So not much to talk about on this uh, home. Yes, I have connected my YouTube channel where I'm broadcasting this right now. So if you want to have a chat, let's chat. My blog, nothingelsematters.com, also has this exploratory booking session link. That's about it. Okay, I'll move on from here and here. Here. So now the title of this session is what next? What is the next best action? And that is also an element which I copied from Salesforce ecosystem, and which is like the I don't know how much time I can spend. I want to spend a lot of time to praise this ecosystem, Salesforce. Yeah, it has templatized. Actually, humanity has templatized a lot of things we want to do. Right? And that is why we are able to scale up a lot of things now. That is why templatize. It's like we know the process to templatize things. We know how to create templates. We know how to create processes. And now, since we are now designing the agents to do these templatized things for us, now we are like more open to think about the philosophy, the principles we want to move into, or the direction we want humanity to move into. Right? It's like, and again, Salesforce seemed to have a great share of impact on humanity, where because as Mark Benioff, the founder, I recall the stories from the book. Uh, what is that? Play Bigger, right? He started with the thought that the end of the software. That's how I'm listening to the audiobook, and that's how it starts. The end of the software. They said we don't actually need software anymore, and then they started building online software. I think it was back in 2000. Right? So now since it recently completed 25 years of evolution of iterations, everything behind is like it's like now the base. Now the generation who's starting from here, it's like my child who's going to born in few months from now is going to look at this as a base. Now this is like a superpower to uh, go somewhere where where I don't even we cannot even imagine, right? It's like a the greatest part of humanity we are sitting on right now, right? And I strongly believe in the prosperity of abundance mindset we are sitting with, right? Keep yourself hydrated, friends. Okay, so 15 minutes into the session, and I'm not still on the topic. I think I'm on the topic. So I'm going to take it slow. I want it to be slow because now I need to get into the depth of the direction of actually building this. Right? I just have a dummy at this stage. I'll share my document for a moment so that I can share my proof of work. So one is the agent, the dummy agent we just saw, which is like the base of the ground zero we are going to move into now. And next is the other part of the proof of work is this document, this living document of my project. Let me just go to the home. It is the part of my life planner, which is like the depth of everything I am doing, but not going to that right now. Okay. Not going to explain this chapter 21 at this stage. This has a lot of depth. So, research experiment funnels. I used to call it funnels experiment. Then I, evolved that thing to research experiment funnels. Again, I'm not describe how I'm describing these. I came up with that. Okay, so this is my research experiment where I'm describing my hypothesis, and this page is like a living document of my the way I think, the way I evolve the processes, the documents. So this is the third iteration of my sprint. Also, it is overflowing. It is like actually 6 days late, but I decided to do this live sessions late after starting this. Actually, thinking about this sprint, so it's okay. We are, it's okay to be delayed, right? Now, there are some definitions of research, the project, hypothesis, everything inside that. And I'm moving into a direction where I'm defining the depth. I also defined the MVP I wanted to design in this sprint, and I'm not delivering on my definitions yet. The purpose of this I thought would be like, um, oh, not the purpose, what the MVP would do, right? So the goal I wanted to meet during these 7 days was like not really 7 days, but the sprint was. Let's start with the conversation, surface the skills of the candidate, avoid bias, use Agentforce backend, not forms, stay grounded in the first principles of the dialogue, leave future room. Okay, did I really define the direction? The whole vision I want to, the direction, yeah. So it's like a let me just get to that. I also defined these things using ChatGPT. So it's like now I'm using it like a co-pilot. I'm feeding all my visions and dreams and thoughts and structures to build on the top of it. I also tried to define some things from there. So these are the three things which Agent Force depends on: topics, instructions, and actions. It's like uh, we need to when we input anything is now for the beginners. Oh, is it not for? Sorry, for. Okay, I was saying agent, the agent force, right? It depends on three core things. When a message is dropped by the human, let's say, depending on the keywords and the understanding of its context, it chooses the topic on the top of it, on the top, like to start with. Depending on the choice of the topic, it find like it chooses the instructions we have fed then, right? Then it takes the action based on the instructions. So it's, everything has to be defined like a designer of the ecosystem. I feel like a designer of a matrix where I'm going to design an ecosystem which like sounds like a connection with the deep connection with the matrix, and I strongly believe in the matrix. I believe there's a uh, system behind the system we see. So I keep on digging down deeper into the rabbit holes I love. Hmm. Okay, so that was a document that was about the thing. So now, what do we have at this stage where we are going one step back? In this documentation, what I have is three tracks that are running. Oh, parallelly, did I? Yes. Build the agent, which is like the top of the funnel. Sell the process and the services, and also cold outreach. So it's like a dual uh, goal experiment where I believe either I will make it large with the help of this agent I'm building, or I'll find an opportunity to work with great people to work, to collaborate in the ways I love to work. So it's like very specifically with the constraints I have. So if I not really defined my constraints, I think I think let me check. Let me check. The bottom of the funnel. No. Are you looking for something like me? I think I should note it down here. So this is the part of the evolution here. I need to be very specific about it, and I want to expose that on this live stream also. Is that I am I am available for about 4 to 5 hours. This is the core constraint I have. I'm working with, and which is like a very necessary thing. I am very core thing I'm starting with because I have a responsibility to take care of my grandpa at this stage, at his stage of his life, which is very necessary to him, me, and everyone in my family. So this is like family first. So constraint, very important part of working on a project, right? But and working with a team. So yeah, if you understand my constraints, let's work together. Now this project has got three parallel tracks. I'm building, I'm selling, and pitching. Pitching is not really being done at this stage very carefully. I don't want to do that. I'm still learning to build an agent. There are a lot of elements which are like an organization might require. But yes, the the processes, the ideation, the documentation, the way I move forward is like should be very much helpful, I believe, and which is like the test of this experiment, right? Now it has a let's jump to the build phase now. Let's jump to the build phase. It has been a very long time. I have been talking about random things or some things related to the project. I built a template to use on daily life challenges. I have the links to the current playground. The playground one is now off. It's not being iterated upon. Right. This second two is yes there. Not this 26 June. Yeah, this is where I'm working on right now. So I'll skip to explain that. Not really going deeper into this definition because I think it still needs to evolve. So ground zero, we are. I'm still discarding my previous definition of my MVP very carefully. Yes, 28 June daily. So I decided to do this challenge. Now I am into this challenge. We are on the day 7, and let's jump to the building phase now. So this is where, like, this is the playground. Starting with this is the playground I have uh, to evolve from. And where's my agent? So how do I choose the next best action from here? It's like, of course, there are many directions I can move into. There are many things that I can do. I can go ahead and simply build a dummy agent which I have in my MVP, right? But that doesn't satisfy my, let's say, ego. I'm not convinced with the process it is moving into, the direction it is moving into. It's like, yes, I want to think of the best case scenario, right? So now imagine you're talking to a god and you're looking for a job. So I will like take the uh, center stage first. Imagine you're talking to the god. What would you do? I don't know. It's like, and now you're looking for an opportunity too. So it's like, as I have written on my blog or app home, the agent home, what all would you like to tell me? Imagine I'm the god, you're looking for a job. What all would you like to tell me about you to be able to, for me to be able to find and match you with the perfect opportunity for you right now? Right? It's the clear question. So the- building the agent is not a big deal, right? It's like there are some elements which need to be connected. There are some elements that need to be um, designed in a way that will get things done. But what do we really want this agent to do? What is this? What do we really want this system to do that has never been done before, or that actually helps or evolves or adds value to some existing things, right? So I'm broadly doing is that I'm replacing all the job sites. I'm saying I'm the chatbot behind ChatGPT. I'm the sentient behind ChatGPT who knows all the jobs on the internet. And I so I'm still trying to think out loud. I'm trying to think out in a principled way, maybe vulnerable way. So what are the ways in which we can think out loud? I can sit down and write, like, yeah, this is one thing, yeah, maybe this, that. And maybe when I can talk, I'm going to write, of course. So next few days, maybe I will not be live broadcasting like this. I will be writing more and thinking out loud. So this is my recent conversation with ChatGPT. I fed this app home also and asked, like, I'm still thinking about the next best action. And yesterday I was talking about the questions it suggested me. So I will share a few questions on the screen right now. So these questions I'll do. Chat is loading on screen. These questions are like very interesting questions. I love these questions because when somebody is talking to God, now what? What is the direction we are actually moving into? This is also scary. This is also risky, very risky part. Of course. So some of the questions are like these. What's something you're never said out loud about your work life? And if that is the question someone asks, it's like, let's say the God asks you. Oh, my legs. If God asks you, what's something that you have never said out loud? Would you really ever answer that? I don't know. Would people ever answer that? Would anyone ever answer that question? So that's what the next step that was suggested to me. But let's see. What makes you feel most alive or most fake? These are the questions. Like I don't know. Can we use these questions to find an opportunity for someone? So now the connected dot here is also that, are we still considering the traditional job descriptions, right? JD. Any JD does not need someone to expose these things, right? So although I'm saying my agent will have the knowledge of all the jobs on the internet, but the traditional job descriptions are like are discarding the way I'm thinking at the base, right? But so these questions are not connecting to, or hypothetically helping someone find a job, at least in my head. So the questions are still, these are the great questions to start with. If I God could remove one weight from your life, what would it be? So I'm thinking of the best case scenario again. Still, I'm thinking of the best case scenario. What something you love that the world doesn't reward? So these are the personal inner questions. Like, are these questions good to start with to find a opportunity to work opportunity? And not going to read all these questions. Maybe I will add them to the description of this video. So I still asked. I love these questions, but I'm still skeptical. I want to be very, very careful and very slow at choosing the direction. And I love the way ChatGPT responds. That's your co-founder in disguise. You're not disguising, designing a feature. You're sculpting soul access. So being slow here is not hesitation; it's precision. Hmm? It says test the edges. Which question? Which 15 question? Let me ask you something uncomfortable but useful. Which of these questions would you flinch a little? And I don't have an answer at this stage. Let's try to find one maybe. What would people actually answer that? It marks the line between real vulnerability and brand theater. Do I find this direction worth to proceed into, or should I still take a step back? That's my that's my thought at this stage, and that's my usual method of working. I don't jump into doing things. I don't deliver fast, but I want to deliver the valuable thing for the long term part of life, because anything delivered that is meaningful, that doesn't connect to the present moment of my life, or the product or the project or the things we have right now, it's like disconnect, of course. And there are a lot of stories. I don't want to share that right now. So let me ask another question to this same thing, or let me see if the voice will be recorded, or stop that and reshare. Why did I do that? I doubt the voice will be recorded. And I've also tested once. Want to think out loud in a direction, the meaningful direction from here. So these questions are okay. You're saying test the edges. I want to say, like, let's say I choose one question, like for example, um, let me just choose one question from here.
Perfect. Let's slow down and make this meaningful. If you choose one question, that's a commitment to seeing how it feels with your user. It's the first spark of trust you're offering. So think of this like testing a match before lighting the whole fire. Let's take it step by step. Start with one question. Which question resonates most deeply with you right now? What emotion or thought would you want your user to experience when answering? Define its purpose. Is it designed to surface the user's fears or desires, reflect a hidden truth, trigger a moment of insight, open up a dialogue with themselves or the agent? Build the moment of interaction. Is the question framed gently or with more intensity? Does it require a response, or is it open-ended, letting them unpack their own feelings? Example, what makes you feel most alive or most fake? Could this be disarming, or does it sound too jarring right now? Test the reaction. If you asked yourself the question, would you answer it truthfully? Would your ideal user feel safe enough to share something personal, or would they freeze? You don't need to test all 15. Pick the one that feels like the right threshold and refine it to perfection. So, which question would you be willing to start with in a way that feels least overwhelming for both you and the user? Let's lock down one. What's your gut feeling?
So I'll take the same question you gave me an example as an example. What makes you feel most alive or most fake? So I believe that question will have a good start to, as a good spark to start with, right? People again, there is a human psychology that has to be studied, I believe, considered carefully at this stage. I'm saying yes, I think I can help people feel safe at this stage and move into that direction. So you're saying test the reaction. Could this be disarming? Does it sound too jarring? So let's assume that we start with from there. And now, like again, still think about it. Should we? Because I don't have a jobs in my ecosystem right now, so I'm not really going to be able to recommend jobs. If even if 100 people start this conversation, so like I'm still thinking of the next best action from here.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The psychology behind the question is everything. By asking what makes you feel most alive or most fake, you're tapping into a fundamental human need to feel seen without judgment. And the safety element is huge, especially when you're starting from such an introspective, vulnerable space. You're giving users permission to open up and acknowledge their own truth. Here's the thing though, you're not just asking a question, you're offering a container for their self reflection. This is what creates trust. So let's think about how you present this question. A few considerations. One, tone and framing. How will this question sound when a user first sees it? Is it gentle, curious, inviting? Could we soften it even more? Like, what moment or feeling makes you feel the most yourself? Or something like, when do you feel most in your element? To shift away from the idea of fake. Guiding the experience. What do you want to happen right after they respond? Is there a next step or feeling you want them to have? Maybe they could get a reflective response like, thank you for sharing that. It's clear that you value X. Let's explore what opportunities align with that. Something that affirms their response. User journey. After this deep dive, what's the next logical step? Do you lead them into actionable steps like job suggestions or
Still, it's going to be difficult to figure out the direction from here. But let's see. It says after this dive, next logical step, you lead them into actionable step like job suggestions, more contemplation. Can you show congruence between their answer and the future interaction? You want them to feel like they're not just talking into the void. So I have this thought, right? Let's start with some recommendations. Let's connect some dots from the jobs on the internet. So after some general vulnerable conversation with the host, or actually or the candidate who's looking for an opportunity, I should start sharing some recommending some jobs. So now it comes down to um, defining the logic for recommendation of a job. Right? It's like now will have to find build the logic in the Salesforce ecosystem to recommend a job. Right? That's what is the goal. And how actually do I move into that direction? So I need to, of course, write down the details, think about it, the depth of where I want to go, where I want to take this system I'm building. Um, so let me like push that thought back to ChatGPT again, and I'm now going to keep this is the seventh actually, not the last, but I want to slow it down. After today, I'll not be this way. I'll be thinking about it slowly, building the structure for the next sessions, and come back with the new challenge for myself. Oh, my browser is hanging. Okay, let me try to build the journey from here. What I'm saying is that after a part of the conversation, which again I will have to improvise multiple times, I understand. This is like, I'm trying to think of the journey, user journey I want to design. So there will be a part of the journey where user exposes their thoughts, their wants, their preferences, their everything. Now I'll use that information to find the relevant jobs, or find best matching jobs for them. So now I'm thinking that there are two parts of it. One is the basic conversation. The second is the logic behind it to connect the right, do the right recommendations, and then actually doing the connectivity with those third party systems, or let's say job sites, to from where I will pull the jobs to do the actual recommendation, right?
Got it. You've got the conversation as the first part of the experience, where users pour out their preferences and desires. But the next phase is crucial, converting that data into actionable insights, the recommendations. 1. Conversation logic. You're collecting sensitive personal data from the user, and this is where you need to carefully design the empathy-driven flow. For example, after someone shares what makes them feel alive or fake, you need to connect it to something actionable. I hear you. You crave X. Let's find something that aligns with that. This can then feed into building an understanding of values and needs that can guide the recommendation logic. Recommendation logic. This is where things get interesting. You have to think about how will you map user input preferences, values, desires to available job opportunities. What are the core filters that make a job a good match? For example, is it skills, culture fit, location, work-life balance? Are you building this yourself from scratch, or will you leverage an existing recommendation system like collaborative filtering, content-based filtering, etc.? 3. Connecting to third-party job sites. Here you will need to design the data layer that allows your agent to access and pull job data from various external sites or APIs. You'll likely need API integrations to retrieve job listings from job boards, LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, etc. Data parsing and filtering to process these job listings in real time based on user input and return them with relevant filters applied. So, how do you envision the recommendation phase working? Do you see it as a multi-step process where the agent refines recommendations with more follow-ups? Or do you want to deliver a curated list of jobs right after the initial conversation? And about those job site integrations, are you already considering which ones you'll connect to, or is that still open?
Again, very very difficult question. I have a few thoughts. I want to move into that direction. Let me maybe again sit down with myself, write it down, think out loud on a piece of paper now, maybe, because I don't have much ideas to proceed into the direction I want to proceed into. I will, but I want to still like take a few minutes to think about it. Like, let's say what all we can choose, like what all information can we get from the candidate to be able to do the right recommendation.
Take your time. This is a big moment, and clarity comes when you let your thoughts breathe. No rush. To help focus your thinking, let's consider what core information you need from the candidate to make a great recommendation. If you can narrow down the essentials, it'll guide the rest of the logic. Here are a few foundational data points you might want to gather from the candidate. 1. Professional experience. What technical and soft skills do they have? What roles have they held? Which industries are they familiar with? Are they looking for entry level, mid level, or senior roles? Key achievements. Anything stand out, like specific projects or goals they've hit? Values and culture fit. Work environment. Preferences. Do they thrive in fast paced environments or prefer something more laid back? Company values. Are they seeking companies that align?
I don't know how to interrupt ChatGPT on desktop mode, so I just disconnect the call, and now I'm going to start from a thought I have. So one very specific thing I have in my head is that I want to do it for a specific job role, that is product management category, the industry, because I think I understand the core of it to some great extent. Now, let's say we are going to help the job product managers find some jobs, um, and now, like let's think of the information that we need from the product managers, let's say senior product managers, to find the ideal opportunities. What information do we need to from them?
Great. Narrowing down to senior product managers is a powerful move. You can create a more tailored experience when you know exactly what you're targeting. Let's think about the specific data you need to gather to match them with the right opportunities in this role. Here's a refined list of information to gather from senior product managers to help make the best job recommendations. 1. Core product management skills. Technical expertise. How familiar are they with technical tools like Jira, Confluence, A/B testing tools, road mapping software, etc.? Have they led products from ideation to launch? How deep is their involvement in each stage: discovery, design, development, launch? Data-driven decision making. Are they comfortable with analyzing data, using metrics to drive decisions?
So what GPT is doing is recommending some, I don't know, templatized things. I wanted to think out the out of the box. Maybe I will have to do the job. I have to do the thinking for ChatGPT to help me be able to do build something out of the box, of course. So I will conclude the session. I am going to think of the direction. Actually, I have thought of the direction. I want to take some time to synthesize that and be able to clearly state that this is the direction I'm moving into. So I'm at least sure that I'm going to iterate on the base agent I have, right? Imagine we are going to imagine a product manager is talking to God. What do the candidate need to tell the God to be able to find the right opportunity? Hmm? I don't have the answer. Let's find out. Let's think about it. I will start building and keep sharing my thoughts. That's me. Thanks, friends. I love you all, and I love myself for doing it this way. Day 7 of 7 days challenge now completes, and now I'm going to draft, think out loud, publish my next challenge soon, very soon.